Hey guys, so this is a video for one of my commenters. He made on one of my BPS videos. He wanted to see how I made the handles for the BPS kiridashi. So I'm gonna I don't usually do recordings of the process, but so right here I got this is a little stack of wood I made a little while ago. You can use a single piece of wood if you like, but I'm going to go for a stack. So right now I am cutting it down in half with my dovetail saw. Try to use as thin a saw as possible, and it's going to go right about there. I personally, for these, I use a glue to attach them. You don't really need anything more than that as long as you prep your surfaces properly. So I'm going to file down, put a bunch of scratch marks in this metal, probably with a 60 grit sanding disc. Get it really clean, wipe it down with some brake clean or whatever, some industrial cleaner to get all the oils off. And for what is this stuff, for if I'm just doing a straight up glue up, you don't want to use regular epoxy. You want to get the toughest epoxy you can find. This is second to none, the best epoxy I've ever used. It doesn't dry quite clear, but it is like you could probably repair a helicopter rotor with this stuff. It takes a lot longer to dry than your standard 20-minute, 30-minute epoxy. I think on a hot summer day it takes about 2-3 hours before I'm comfortable taking it out. But so yeah, I'm gonna do a quick little cut here, and I'll update when I'm doing the glue up, and then yeah, then we'll do some shaping probably tomorrow, because it's Thanksgiving and I want to spend some time with my... Anyways, thanks for the comment, buddy, and hopefully this helps when it's uploaded. Alright guys, so I got the glue up done. Just show you the most important part when you're dealing with especially this specific knife, because I don't use pins. It's got the speed holes going through it. When you lay your epoxy down, make sure you fill those holes to the teats. So like as you clamp everything down, they squeeze together, and then those holes, basically, as the epoxy cures, they become like internal pins. As long as you do enough prep work, that epoxy is just as strong as pins. Make sure you get the good stuff. I use C Corp. It's like a Canadian company, I do believe, but you can get high-end epoxies from various different sources, especially if you're in the US. But that is my favorite epoxy by far. And so this probably will take 2 hours to cure, 3 hours to cure. It won't be fully cured at that point in time. I like to wait a full 24 hours for it to fully cure, but it is like, it's hard enough to remove from the clamp after 2-3 hours. So if you're on a time crunch, you can work it. Like, you can grind down after 3-4 hours, but you just got to make sure not to heat up the epoxy, because epoxy, when it's curing, is super susceptible to heat. It affects the bond. So just be careful if you really want to rush it. But like I said, it's Thanksgiving. I'm gonna wait all day. So yeah, I'm gonna go make some turkey. I don't know, ham, something. I got some choices. So cheers and happy Thanksgiving, guys. Hey, alright, so next morning, it's all dry. It took quite a while, but yeah, that stuff is on there. Anyways, so one thing I forgot to mention in the last video, after you cut it in half, you want to, unless you're super good with a saw, I'm not as good, you're always going to have some rough spots on the inside. So you want to flatten that out. Either I use my belt grinder to flatten it out, but if you don't have a belt grinder, just lay some sandpaper down on as flat of surface as possible, like an old tile or something, like a ceramic tile, and just rub and flatten out those surfaces before you before you glue it together, because you want the inside to be as flat as possible so you don't have any like glue gaps or anything that look nasty. Anyways, I'm going to shape this on the belt grinder and then show you the next step. Cheers. Alright guys, so what a freaking beautiful day it is today. But okay, so when shaping this, I did it on my belt sander. So basically you just grind down the sides until it kisses the steel. It's the carbon steel, so you can immediately see the sparks come up. And that's how I know how much to grind off. So I ground down to the steel there, and now I put a rough shape, kind of what I'm going for. The profile is going to be, you want to keep pretty wide on this part, especially on this knife, because it's so thin this way. If you want any sort of feel in your hand, you're going to want to keep this part pretty wide. So yeah, I'm going to go shape the sides now, give it this profile, and then start rounding her out, make her all ergonomic. Cheers. Alright, so here's the next step. Sorry I'm like not showing you me actually grinding it. Trust me, it's kind of boring, but I'll try to give you as many step-by-steps as I can here. So I got the rough profile, vertical, horizontal. Now I'm going to take my grinder and start taking these corners down. You want to be careful not to go too deep. I'm probably going to switch from my 60 grit belt to my 120 grit belt, just so I'm not cutting these corners too deep, because I want quite a bit of meat left in this plane, and I don't want to take much off of. Yeah, there's not much coming off right now. I got most of the meat off, just the corners, and then once I get it down to a shape that's close to what I want, I'm going to bring it into my shop, clamp it right here, and get the hand sanding done on. I take an old sanding belt and I kind of just shik, have this worked in, and kind of like you're buffing it, and that'll help round out all the corners evenly, because belt grinders can be pretty aggressive. You could do this anyway too. Like sometimes I'll hand shape this with a little carving knife, but I don't like to do that too much because it's super easy to bump my nice carving knife into the steel, especially when I'm going around these corners and I take chips out of my nice carving knives. So yeah, next step, it's coming along pretty good, eh? Cheers. Alright, here you go. She done. The finished article. This little part was super hard. What I did here was take a Dremel. Well, I started with a file, but that was taking too long, so I took a Dremel and got all that out there, and then I rounded out all those corners, because it's right where your thumbs go. You don't want too many sharp corners there, but yeah, I just got to clean up a little bit of glue on the butt end of it, maybe a little bit of glue right there, seeped out, so you got a nice kind of Coke bottle shape there. It allows for you to have a good grip like that, a good pinch grip further back, and then another good pinch grip right up here where you can get up in there. And the best part is it fits in the sheath that comes with it. So if you're doing this mod, the sheath fits this style of handle, thin at the top, so it does stretch a little bit, stretch the sheath out a little bit, but it holds it in good. What a beaut. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go stitch this together, upload it for the gentleman who asked, and have yourself a great day. Cheers.